What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Knicks Latest, your home for the latest headlines, news, rumors, updates, scores, all that good stuff for the New York Knicks. I am Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. We are one day away from the start of the NBA playoffs and our New York Knicks taking on the Detroit Pistons. Before you do anything, though, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on all notifications for this channel. Make sure you like the video and make sure you comment. I want to hear your opinions. I want to know what you think is going to happen in this 7-game series against the Detroit Pistons. This is the first round. A lot of Knicks fans are worried for some reason, some that I've been talking to. The media is trying to make this series to be a very tight one, which I don't think it is. If you look back in the video that I posted yesterday, I don't think this is going to be too close of a series. Maybe that's me just believing too much in these Knicks, but I just think they are way more talented than the media is giving them credit for. And I think this is a series that the Knicks should win. But again, make sure you subscribe. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me what you think of this series. Do the Knicks win the series? In how many games? Do the Pistons win this series? In how many games? Who are your X factors? All that good stuff. Now, let's stop talking about the overall, overarching, macro version of the series, which is the whole series, and let's get into specifics. Game 1, Knicks-Pistons, Saturday night at the Garden. I fully expect the Knicks to win this game. The Pistons, though, if you're a Pistons fan, if you're going and rooting for Detroit, this is a game you have to have. They say you have to split on the road. I understand that, but I do think it's probably more important to win the first game than to win the second game, because then you don't have the pressure of splitting the second game. If you come out, set the tone right away, get a win as an underdog, I think that sets the tone for the whole series. And I think the only way the Pistons can actually win this series is, yes, they have to get at least a split in the first 2 games, but I do think winning game 1 puts way more pressure on the Knicks to perform throughout the series. You know, I don't know if the Pistons can beat this team back-to-back. So if you win game 1, you can alternate and win the series that way. I mean, there's just different ways you can win the series. Getting off to a 1-0 start in the series as an underdog is way more important to me. And for the Knicks, obviously you don't want to drop this one, but for me personally, if they go out and win this game, I'm going to be very, 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 very comfortable going forward, right? You know, they are favored. They are heavily favored, as they should be. They are the better team. And I expect them to be ready. You know, at this point, this is the 3rd straight playoff run that these Knicks are having, right? The Jalen Brunson era. Tom Thibodeau, his 4th run with the team, 3rd with this iteration of Hart and Brunson, and that vibe, the Villanova vibe, as you would say. Mitchell Robinson, he's been here. Deuce, he's been here before. Campaign has played in big games. You know, I expect the Knicks to be professional and come out and do their jobs. I don't think this is that controversial an opinion. They've been here before. There's no excuse for the Knicks to come out flat tomorrow. So I don't expect that. I think they're going to come out. I think they're going to punch the Pistons in the mouth, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think the Pistons are young. They're a little jittery, especially the Cade's their leader. You know, you might have some veteran leadership on there with Schroeder and Tobias Harris and Beasley, but when your leader's Cade Cunningham, he's never been in the playoffs before, and his first game was at Madison Square Garden, a lot of nerves. So I expect the Pistons to come out a little sloppy, maybe high energy, but sloppy, aggressive, maybe overly aggressive. And I think the Knicks take advantage of that. I fully expect that to start the game. But to me, most importantly, the biggest story tomorrow is I think all eyes are on Cat. On both ends of the floor. On the offensive end, on the defensive end, on both ends of the floor. Especially the defensive end, right? If they're putting Cat in the pick and roll, are we dropping? If we are dropping, is he doing a good job containing Cade Cunningham on the drop? I don't know. Are we switching? I don't think so. You know, you saw late in the Boston Celtics game, Tibbs decided to switch instead of doing the traditional drop to avoid the pick and pop. You're not going to really have that with the Pistons because they don't really have a lot of pick and pop players, if any. So I do expect some drop, maybe some switching. I don't think that, though. I think it's going to be largely in drop. How does Cat play defensively? Does he look lost defensively? Can he guard the pick and roll? Because if Cat can do his job in the pick and roll and contain on drop and help and recover, I don't know how the Pistons muster up enough offense to keep up with the Knicks offense. So on that end of the floor, all eyes on Cat. On the offensive end of the floor, all eyes on Cat, I think, as well. You know, the Pistons cannot guard him on the perimeter. Pistons have big men who can bang inside. They are tough. They are physical. But they can't hang with Cat on the perimeter. And this is why we got Cat, right? At the end of the day, the Knicks shook up the whole roster, trading Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo to change the identity of this team. And that identity was largely bringing Cat in to stretch out the offense. Well, now it's playoff time. What do you got, Cat? Show us what you got. Like, this is what we got you for. We didn't get you for the defense. We know that we're going to sacrifice a little on the defense, but we do expect you to be at least passable on that end. But we expect you to be elite on the offensive end of the ball. So can you do that? Will you do that? That's the big question. And that leads me to my game one prediction. I got the Knicks. I think the Knicks come out, like I said, to start. I think Cat has a huge game. I think he's good enough defensively. I think he has a huge game offensively. I think they come out measured. I think they come out balanced. I think they come out not overhyped, but knowing what to expect from the Garden crowd, being here before, the better team with more talent, not underestimating their talent. I don't think there's a problem with Tom Thibodeau teams underestimating talent and giving effort. I think he'll have them ready. I think they'll be ready. I think Jalen Brunson's going to have a nice game. I expect Josh Hart to have a really good game. You know, there has been some moments this year post All-Star break where we're like, man, where did the old Josh Hart go? You know, he's not shooting the three. He's hesitating. Sometimes they're playing 4-on-5 on that end because he refuses to shoot the basketball. I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see the same Philadelphia 76ers series Josh Hart that we saw last year. One who's not hesitating shooting the basketball. One who's ultra aggressive, looking for his shot and looking to score the basketball and crashing the offensive boards and creating for others. OG Anunoby, I expect to have a solid series. I expect Tibbs to put him on Cade Cunningham, maybe not to start, but maybe in crunch time situations or in situations where the Knicks need a stop. You know, maybe Mikal Bridges gets going early. You know, when he's touching the basketball early on, he does well. I expect the Knicks to come out balanced, focused, and professional. That's what I'm looking for from the team, a professional start to the series. I got them winning, let's just say, 114-102 in a game where I don't think they blow out the Pistons, but for the most part, they're in control of the game. You're never really wondering if they're going to lose the game. Maybe the Pistons cut it to 6 or 7 here, but for the most part, the Knicks are up anywhere from 8 to 12 to 13 points throughout the whole game. Coast to coast, measured, professional, veteran. This is who we are. Y'all not mess with us this series. That's what I fully expect for the Knicks. So let me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe. Again, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Comment who you think is winning game one specifically. What do you expect to see from Cat? Who do you think the X factor in game one's going to be? What worries you about the game? But I'm excited, man. The playoffs start tomorrow. The Garden's going to be rocking. There's no place like Madison Square Garden in the playoffs. I'm excited to see it. Hopefully, it's a great result for us Knicks fans. So make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned. We'll have post-game coverage. Until then, peace.